Good afternoon. Good Thursday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Southside Beat. My name is Chris Halicke, and Corey Crisan will be joining me at some point today. Same thing as it was yesterday. Corey is hard at work on the Southside. That is why we are called the Southside Beat. And so, welcome, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good Thursday. It is rainy here in North Texas, and so I hope the weather in Pittsburgh is much better. I'm preparing for a lot of rain, which we need, but we don't get it during the summer. So it's actually Ryan Corey is not slacking whatsoever. He's hard at work in terms of his promptness on the show. Yes, he is slacking, but he is slacking for a good reason. So, but Corey will be joining us at some point, maybe in about 10 or 15 minutes. And so you guys can help me out, sit into the co-host chair or take a seat in the co-host chair and let's talk. But I'll get everything started here by kind of turning the page toward the Jaguars because we have talked a lot about, excuse me, about the Steelers, obviously, in regards to their performance against the Rams. Corey, whenever he gets on here, it's already snowing. Monongahela, Mike, are you kidding? Man, that sucks. Yeah. Ryan says the best ability is availability. Well, it's true, but if Corey figures out how to be in two places at once. Oh, Northern Idaho. Okay. All right. I see how it is. If Corey figures out how to be in two places at once, then he's going to be a very rich man one day. But, Barbara, I have a question. If Mike Tomlin is 5'8" and they say Sean McVay is 5'10", what was he looking up to Tomlin? I don't think Tomlin's 5'8". I don't know if he's listed at 5'8". If he's 5'8", he's a really tall 5'8". Because I've stood next to Mike Tomlin. That dude does not seem 5'8" whatsoever at all. Teresa says, what do you make of these D-Hop Steelers rumors? I'm not buying it. I'm not either. Really, when it comes to any rumors that are happening nowadays, especially as we get closer and closer to the trade deadline, I would definitely just not put a lot of stock into anything. Not unless you start hearing it from reputable sources. If you start hearing Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport start talking about like legitimate like DeAndre Hopkins or Patrick Surtain II to the Steelers rumors, like the Steelers are in hot pursuit of those guys, and you hear it from those type of reporters, I would not put a lot of stock into it. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but yeah, I wouldn't put a lot of stock into it. Demond says Tomlin is tall as hell. Yeah, I don't know what he's supposed to. I've never Googled Mike Tomlin's height, but I can. Yeah, I was about to say I says he's like 6'3". I do not think he's 5'8" at all. Barber says Tomlin is 5'8". He's a really tall 5'8". Then I'll tell you that right now because he does not seem 5. Now you got me. I'm gonna Google it right now. Mike Tomlin height. Yeah, it's not coming up. This biography mask says Mike Tomlin is 5'8". I don't know. Again, I don't buy it. I really don't. I don't know what he's listed at, but I don't know. Either way, Matthew says Cam is back at practice. That is correct. The Steelers announced that today. Hodge, I agree with you. The internet's wrong. I'll go back to Tomlin's combine data later. I can tell you, I've stood next to Mike Tomlin multiple times. That dude is not 5'8". Yeah, he's not 5'8". I am about a breath short of 6 feet tall. He is not 5'8". But yes, Cam is back at practice. So that is obviously great news for the Steelers since it happened today, and today being Thursday. Unless he's a full participant today and tomorrow, I do not put a lot of stock into him possibly playing on Sunday. It'd be great to see, especially with what the Jaguars present, and that's kind of what I want to get to today. Is what the Jaguars are doing, because the Jaguars are a good team. Yeah. This is hilarious. You guys are all debating about Mike Tomlin's height. This is really, really funny. Of all the things that I thought, I mean, now granted, we will talk about anything you guys want to talk about on here. Hey, if it's on the internet, man, it's true. B Phil says, never fully trust the internet. And if it's on the internet, it's true. I mean, especially if you get it from Wikipedia, it's got to be true. Bob says, Cam can surprise you. He sure can. He really can. The dude is just, he's going to go down in Steelers lore for a reason. It's not just because of how good of a player he was. Sorry, you guys are just cracking me up in these comments right now. That's me. It says, does Mike Tomlin even have a height? Oh man. Yeah. So when it comes to Cam, I mean, I definitely wouldn't put it past the possibility of Cam playing Sunday. I'm just saying, like, they may want to take it a little easy with him. You've got the rest of the season to think about, and trying to rush him back for a game in week 8. I don't see the point in that, especially if he's not 100% ready to go. If you're like, okay, if we give him another week and he will definitely be 100% without any setbacks, I'd rather wait another week. You have time, right? This team is 4-2. A loss to Jacksonville is not the end of the world. Sure, you don't want to take a loss against a conference team, but it's not a divisional game. So I would not. Jay Hanna. Legend says the Mike Tomlin is 8 feet tall. I agree with you. I've stood next to Mike Tomlin. He's definitely 8 feet tall for sure. But yeah, I wouldn't rule it out. And really, the Steelers do need all the help they can get. They really do, because the Jaguars are a formidable foe. That 1-2 start that they had, just forget about it. This team is really, really good, like for real. This team is phenomenal. They're not perfect. They definitely have their weaknesses. I have a piece of Reese's stuck in my throat. I don't know how that's even possible, but I ate a Reese's and all of a sudden I have something stuck in my throat. So I might be coughing a lot. So yeah, not great quality, Chris. It's true. It's not great quality at all. Oh man. The Jaguars, they're a legitimate team, man. Trevor Lawrence is a very, very accurate quarterback. He looks just as good as he did last year. He had one bad game against the Chiefs. He's looking good for sure. Travis Etienne leads the NFL in touches. He's a good runner. He's great as a pass catcher. I'd rather swallow the Reese's, man. I really would. Okay, I'm really glad somebody brought this up. Teresa says, do you think Trevor Lawrence is disrespecting the Steelers by his little yellow towels reference when asked if he knew what the terrible towels, given how relatively young he is? Absolutely not. I saw the account, and I have stressed about this particular account. I don't want to name it because I don't want to be that guy. But this particular account, which is a blog account, even though it has the little yellow check mark, which means it's like a verified organization on Twitter, it's not a verified organization. It's a blog site. Put it in a context so that if you don't watch the video of his full answer, made it sound like it was a disrespectful thing. I have the whole quote on my next opponent preview, which I'm going to go ahead and just, kind of show that to you now on DK Pittsburgh Sports. You can go right here. You can read this. Next opponent, opportunistic Jaguars present formidable challenge. All the way at the very end, I have the full quote from Trevor Lawrence. Absolutely not. He did not disrespect the Steelers, the fan base, or the terrible towel. Somebody asked him if he They should. But it's a verified blog site. That's fine. Blog means it's written by fans. It's not written by anybody who's a reporter, not anybody who spends any time on the South Side, who talks to anybody in the organization. It's a blog site. Trust it as far as you can throw it. Don't trust it at all. It's always going to be coming from a fan's perspective. If a butthurt fan is the one who heard that and said something about it, then that's probably why it sounds that way, or it sounded like that. And this is not like I'm trying to be like, it's just that kind of crap pisses me off. It just does. It's because mob mentality is a real thing. You get one person upset about it, all of a sudden 10 fans are upset about it, then 100 fans are upset about it, then 1,000 fans, then 100,000 fans. It's what happened. Okay, I do agree. Enough with Tomlin's height, dude. This is hilarious. Like, it's funny, but man, like, of all the things that would like go throughout this chat, yeah, no. Okay, I'm glad that you got it from, because I did see it on Twitter earlier today of this particular blog site putting the video. Now, granted, they put the video of the whole answer, but they didn't put anything else other than the little yellow towels thing in the caption. And vast majority of the time when people are on social media, they're scrolling. They see one little caption. They're not going to take their time to watch the video, and they're just going to immediately quote tweet and be like, "Oh man, I'm so pissed." Oh, man. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. Today's show sucks. Corey will be here soon. I promise. But let's see. Back to the Jaguars. Yeah. So this Jaguars defense, and I think this is going to be something really, really important to watch this Sunday for sure. The Jaguars defense leads the league in takeaways, 16 takeaways, more than 2 takeaways a game. That is obviously something the Steelers have to watch out for. However, the Jaguars pass defense is allowing the second most yards per game. So thank you, Teresa. I appreciate that. But second most passing yards per game. So what's the balancing act there? You want to attack where they're weakest. They are giving up a lot of yards per game. However, they're also taking the ball away a lot. 9 picks in 7 games. That's quite a bit. Rick just asked how they're getting their takeaways. 9 interceptions, 7 fumble recoveries. So it's a pretty even balance. So when receivers are catching the ball and trying to run after the catch, you better be putting 2 hands on that ball if you're in any kind of traffic whatsoever, because they will punch the ball out. 9 picks in 7 games. It means that they can intercept the ball too. They got a middle linebacker. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But appreciate it, Jerry. I appreciate it. Yeah, but that linebacker again. I wish I knew how. I'm going to try to take a stab at this because I wrote it down, or I put it's obviously in my breakdown. Alukan. I don't know. My wife would be able to do it. She's really good with these kind of pronunciations. Anyway, he's got 81 combined tackles, which is second in the NFL, with 5 passes defensed and a pick 6. And that's from the linebacker position. That's not counting, other secondary members who have contributed to the interceptions as well. So this defense can take the ball away, but they're also giving up a lot of yards. So it's how can this Steelers passing game really try to find a way to move the ball down the field while also managing risk. I mean, you're going to have to take some risks if you're going to move the ball down the field. You can't just throw these, short little curls or 5-yard outs or, every single time. Have some more in-breaking routes. If they're backing off on coverage, run the quick slants. It worked against the Rams a few times. Run those quick slants if the corners are off. You have to be able to do that. If they're pressing up on you, then try to get some stuff over the top. You got to try to find a way to test the secondary, because they are giving up a lot of yards. Bob, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Says the show is always solid. Today is no exception. Don't make me stab a dude who steps out of line. Well, let's not. Let's not. I'm not going to condone violence here. I appreciate you watch my back, but I would definitely not condone violence there. Justin coming in with a $5 contribution. Thank you so much, Justin. It says reminders that users can sign off whenever they want. We want volunteers, not hostages. Well done. Great Tomlinism right there. Great usage there. Justin says, Chris, what is your take on our utilization of Mount Washington for all you Yinzers? Well, I think you should take the incline up Mount Washington. You get a really good view. I'm just kidding. Darnell Washington, listen, we know that so the big thing that I think about a guy like Washington is he obviously is a much more accomplished blocker at this point. And what I think the offense is trying to do, not saying that they're doing it greatly, but they are, I think, trying to play to their players' strengths. Notice how when Najee's on the field, they tend to run more often. When Jalen's on the field, they tend to throw more often. Jalen is targeted almost more than any other running back whenever he's on the field in terms of like percentage of targets and stuff like that. But so I think that they're trying to play to their players' strengths on the field. They don't do a great job of it, but I think they're doing a little bit better job of that this year than they were last year. It's just execution's been lacking, obviously. And of course, play calling concepts. We've been through all that. So with Washington right now, I think they want to see him evolve more as a route runner and as a pass catcher in practice before they start really trying to unleash it on game days. The one thing that could end up happening for the Steelers in which Darnell Washington all of a sudden goes off is that defenses are kind of ignoring him right now. And so if defenses continue to ignore him, he doesn't have to be a great route runner. He doesn't have to be, have to gain so much separation, because all it takes is beating one guy. And if it's beating their worst guy, then maybe all of a sudden one game, because defenses have just been ignoring him, all of a sudden he gets 3 or 4 huge catches, and now defenses have to start. So I don't know if it's just a slow build thing or what it is. I also know that coming into the season, I did not expect Darnell Washington, even if he was on the field quite a bit, to be getting a lot of targets. I just did not anticipate it at all. Really good, really great blocker. He can be a really good two-way tight end down the line for sure. But he's still very raw, especially as a route runner. And if there's any kind of proof that you need when it comes to how important route running is, man, look at the differences. And I understand it's receiver, so it's a little bit different, but look at the differences between like Deontay Johnson and Calvin Austin, Calvin Austin is very, very shifty. He's a very, very good receiver in terms of, being able to move and change directions really quickly, but there is an art to route running. It doesn't just require speed and quickness. It requires how to manipulate a corner right at the right time so that you can make your breaks at the right time. It really, really is. Yeah. Mike Jones says, ignoring him. The kid is 4 inches shorter than Shaq. Toss the ball in the air in the end zone. Again, how is his body control in the air? I mean, he could have really good body control, especially if, having a history as a basketball player. But again, these safeties, these linebackers, or in certain instances, these cornerbacks know how to make plays on the football. It doesn't matter how high it is. They know how to reach the ball at the highest point. So it isn't something that I think the Steelers are going to force, and nor do I think that they should force it. I really do think, because, I think if they would have forced Connor Heyward too early last year, it wouldn't have worked as well as it did, but allowing him to kind of develop and everything like that really helped. And that being said, look who's here.
There's an adult day over here, man, I swear.
Oh, man. Well, it's been pretty active here, Corey. We've been talking about Mike Tomlin's height.
Oh.
Mike Tomlin's height.
Yeah.
More about Mike Tomlin's height. And I was
pretty tall.
And I was it started by the internet saying Mike Tomlin's 5'8". I'm like, he is not 5'8".
No, he's taller than me. I'm 5'10" and some change. He's taller than me. He's at least 6'1".
Yeah,
at least 6'1". Here, speaking of coaches' patterns and behaviors, Pat Narduzzi said on record today he sleeps about 5.5 hours a night. So, do what you will with that information.
Are you hotspot Corey or low quality Corey? Because you're frozen right now. We can hear you, but your face is frozen.
I'm low quality Corey. Let me try to adjust that in moment if we can. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see how this works. We got 10 minutes left. Let's fly by the seat of our pants today. Let's YOLO the situation.
Hey, you know what? I was even told I'm not doing a great job on the show today. Somebody, very kindly said that in the comments.
That's rude.
And so
that's rude.
It's fine. It's
okay.
fine.
Let's go to Cam Heyward.
Yeah.
Cam Heyward back today.
Yeah, that definitely came up. So Corey, fill us in on everything because there's a lot of stuff that happened on the South Side with Matt Canada, Tara Lawson, Cam Heyward. Take the floor. The floor is yours, man.
I'll start at the start. Let's do this quickly. So, Matt Canada basically said exactly what you think he was going to say. We need to be better in the first 3 quarters and not just the fourth. That's
what?
I know. Surprising, shocking, groundbreaking information. But I think
where's he wearing a normal hat today, or did he go bald?
The normal hat.
Normal hat. Okay.
Standard attire today. Same with Tara Lawson. Pants, the long sweatshirt, black hat. TA employs, I think, similar dress code to Mike Tomlin, which Mike Tomlin, I think, has been on record saying basically that he wears all black long sleeve pants and shirts, just to get a feel for the heat, turn up the heat, if you will. So TA does the same thing. But TA said a lot of interesting stuff. And if you check my story out on DKPittsburghSports.com already, it's about the explosiveness of the Jags offense. This team has put up 29 points in their last 4 games. They're 4-0 in their last 4. They're undefeated since the turn of October. And really, they've turned things up. And, a lot of talk was about that. And there was some talk, of course, about Joey Porter Jr., which is in the feed right now at DKPittsburghSports.com. TLDR, Joey's going to play more. He's cutting the kid loose. I know. We can give a round of applause for that. He's cutting the kid loose. And of course, that's going to move Pat P around. Part of this maybe because of Levi Wallace's injury. He was a DNP on Wednesday. We'll find out today what he did today. So we'll see about that. And then, of course, after practice, George Pickens said a really interesting comment about the Jaguars' pass defense. And he called it a hope defense, HOPE defense. Just kind of talking about how they get pressure and they hope they get to the quarterback before he gets the ball out. So not really high on the Jags pass defense, but the big thing today, pun intended, I guess, is that Cam Heyward returned to practice today in an official capacity, and the Steelers opened the 21-day window for him to be reactivated off of injured reserve. Cam basically said, hey, we asked him, when are you coming back? He goes, that's above my pay grade as far as game is concerned. So I would not expect him
that to anybody.
No, so I would not expect him to play Sunday against the Jaguars, but that doesn't close the window for the following week against the Titans, or I believe it's the Packers at home.
Packers, yeah.
Yes. Yep. So that doesn't close the window for those. So Cam's back. He says he feels good. This is really, I think, a quicker return than we anticipated, at least to in football activity. He talked about running and doing all kinds of work and drills and whatnot. So positive news regarding Cam Heyward coming out today, perhaps a little sooner than we anticipated.
No, it's definitely great news. And no, I don't, and I said this earlier before you got on, I don't anticipate Cam playing Sunday. No. It would be great, but if he's not ready to go, if he's not 100%, there's conditioning issues to also, you got to get up to as close to game shape as you possibly can when you've been out for this long. So, and I would not rush him back whatsoever. So I think it's good news there. Matt Canada's epiphany, as somebody put it, Kurt said earlier here, glad that he had that epiphany, but yeah, they got to be better for 4 quarters for sure.
Full transparency, I didn't spend any time over with Matt Canada because I wanted to get a feel for what Tara Lawson had to say. I know, right. You know what? Sometimes you just gotta zag when people zig,
Yeah, no, I get it. I really do. Okay, whole season on the beat last year, man. I'm telling you.
I was there with you.
I get it. Yeah. It gets, especially when you're there by yourself and you're like, I've got to kind of choose here. And in the first half of the season, I didn't really have much of a choice because after every single game going into the next week, I'm like, I'm going to have to go to Matt Canada because there's going to be something to answer for in the offense. As much as I want to go over and possibly ask Tara Lawson, like, how's the defense adjusting without TJ Watt? What are you guys doing to try to make up for the loss of TJ Watt? Because that's a big thing too. But the offense was so bad. It was like, man, I got to go talk to Matt Canada again. I got to go hear what he has to say now. It was kind of the same thing. You can't be. We were talking about it. If Corey can figure out a way to be in 2 places at once,
I need to be
a rich man one day.
I need to be in 4 places at once, man. Between Canada, TA, this show, and the pit, I need to be in 4 places at once. But I digress on that. But look, I mean, the fact of the matter is, Matt Canada wasn't going to say anything earth-shattering today.
No.
Again, the theme of the offense right now is it still isn't all together. It still isn't good per se.
It's a work in progress.
Yes, that, and then of course Kenny's magic is undeniable in the fourth quarter, but they got to do it in the first 3. So I'm not really sure. This is just my mentality as a reporter going into it. I'm just not sure what Canada would have said today that would have added more context to what Kenny Pickett has already said, and what Mike Tomlin has already said, and what Deontay Johnson has already said, which Deontay talked this morning as well. So that was part of my rationale for going to TA, and it was good conversation. Talked Joey Porter Jr., which I think is a big deal, and the seeming willingness to cut the cord, so to speak, on him. So, good things. Busy day on the South Side today. A quick reminder: I will not be here tomorrow. So
it's gonna be a really bad show tomorrow.
It's gonna be show tomorrow. Yours and the Asylum, the chat. This is a big day for you guys tomorrow, because I will be en route to South Bend, Indiana for Notre Dame. So
you might be cutting out a little early because you're starting to lose it a little bit.
Fading fast, baby. Fading fast.
James, cloning is illegal. All right. Ever since Dolly was cloned, man, no, it's illegal. You ever watch The Sixth Day with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, can't say I have.
I'm dating myself on that one, big time.
I mean, I could see older movies.
No, I know that, but it was like if you weren't of a certain age when that movie came out, because it's not like one of those it's not like Total Recall or Terminator or one of those classics that aren't Arnold Schwarzenegger's in. It's like
God, no.
It's just one of those movies that you happen to see, and there's actually what's his name? Why can I not think of his name? He's the funniest dude ever. Dude from White Chicks.
Terry Crews.
Thank you, God. He's in it. He's in it. Why can I not think of Terry Crews' name? Man.
Oh, man.
He's in it. There's a couple of other people in there. The guy who plays I'm doing terrible with names right now. The guy from Guardians of the Galaxy. Who's the blue guy with the red thing in his head.
There's a bunch of them. Chris Evans. Why am I thinking Chris Evans? That's wrong.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
The only one I care about is Batista.
Well, he's in Guardians of the Galaxy. Not in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. He's in the first 2.
I know. I just don't.
No, he's in the second one. Oh, shoot. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Now I have Batista's theme stuck in my head. We are really losing it today.
Yes, Michael something. Yes, I know the actor's name was Michael something, but Yondu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Rooker.
Yeah, couldn't have gotten that one for you.
Wandu is also in there. So Terry Crews and Wandu in an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie about cloning from the early 2000s. Go watch it.
Here's how far I am. Here's how far behind I am. I just watched the entire Harry Potter series for the first time recently. Chris is out. He's wiping it clean. He's out. I just watched the Harry Potter series through for the first time. I've obviously known of the movie. Chris is coming back. He's putting his headphones on. He's still disgusted in me. Don't know if he wants to hear this. Go ahead.
I didn't even hear what you said after that.
Okay.
I just couldn't.
I just haven't watched them. I've never been a huge movie guy. I've never been a huge movie guy.
They are not.
Look, Bead's with me as well. He's just seen the series as well.
I don't get that.
Listen, great series. I missed out. I will fully acknowledge that.
Next thing you're going to tell me is that you haven't seen the Star Wars movies, or you haven't seen Lord of the Rings. Oh no, Corey.
I'm not a huge movie guy. I'm really not.
You've never seen Star Wars?
I've seen them. It's just been years. I haven't rewatched them. Dude,
we're about to end this show now.
we're at 30 minutes, so we could technically, and we're waiting on an injury. I'm trying to stall also for an injury report. Because that is significant this week in a lot of ways. Obviously, Levi Wallace, a DNP.
Hodge is right. Like everything, the books are better. 100% they are. I learned that with the Lord of the Rings trilogy because I had never read the books until so I was forced to watch the second movie in the movie theater. I didn't want to watch the movies at all. I had never read the books, never seen the movies. I just didn't want, that was like at the time it was you're either team Star Wars or team Lord of the Rings. And I was team Star Wars. So I didn't want to watch Lord of the Rings. Yeah. And so I watched the second movie. I was like, actually, this is really good. And so then I went back and I watched the first one and then I read all 3 books. And now, because I read all 3 books, I went back and read The Hobbit. The Hobbit is one of my favorite books of all time. I still, to this day, have not seen The Hobbit trilogy, and I will not watch it because
I've seen Matrix and Hunger Games, HMJ. I haven't sat down to watch all 8 movies of Harry Potter, like, as an adult cognizantly, and I loved it.
It is a lot of movies. You are committing to quite a bit.
It's a long time. It's 2.5 hours a movie.
Yeah,
sports writer.
The 8 movies of Harry Potter is longer than the 3 movies of Lord of the Rings, and that's saying something.
Randy asked a football question. Really, the Jaguars have averaged 29 points in October. 23, 25, 37, and 31. Those are their point totals in October. That averages to 29. So, yes, they have averaged 29 points in October. They've been very good lately. Now. They scored 31 last week against the Saints, not the Falcons, the Saints. One of them was a defensive score, but still, have I seen the longest yard? Absolutely. Come on.
It's about football.
I'm not that uncultured. What's your favorite football movie?
Remember the Titans.
Okay, that's fair. Friday Night Lights.
Phenomenal. Friday Night Lights is top 3.
Friday Night Lights for me.
It's up there. It is great.
See.
Waterboy is that's my top 3 great. Right there. That's my top 3.
Waterboy for vlogs. Barber, birthday was good. It was a working day. Very much a working day. Between Southside and pit stuff and just a lot. I did get a chance to go home, have a cold beer, play a little video game. Girlfriend flew in from Atlanta after a work trip yesterday. So, spent a little time in the evening and got ready to do it again today. So, I think the celebration is going to be put off until next week. Just timing reasons, really. Yeah. Monday and Tuesdays. Chris knows this. Mondays and Tuesdays are much lighter over here compared to the Wednesdays and Thursdays over here.
Corey, we're running out of time and you're starting to cut out again. So before the internet properly cuts you off or right at the right time, and since you won't be here tomorrow, you got to give your prediction for Sunday now. That's your final thought for the day.
Yes, I will. Wow. Jacksonville's playing so well right now, aren't they? The pass defense is suspect. Like Pickens saying hope defense, it was a slight, but was also kind of true. Like the pass defense isn't that good. Like I think this is a good opportunity for the Steelers offense to catch a little wind here. I see a touchdown game. I just don't know in favor of who. I'll say the Steelers because I need to pad my record this year. So I'll say the Steelers. I think like a 28-24 ball game. Like I think it's a touchdown or less game.
You can give me your official prediction later. That'll go in stat picks for tomorrow.
That's true.
Yeah. So, hey, my kid's high school team played at the same stadium as the Mud Dogs. The Mud Dogs is always my fantasy football team name because of the Water Boy.
My fantasy football team name is the cut and paste component after Mike Tomlin's famous quote about the depth chart last year. I think that's the perfect team name. Bettsburg, this will be a question for Chris tomorrow. How do we feel about the Steelers secondary?
You know what? I will make that my final thought. My final thought. This could be a situation in which the Steelers can have some splash because yes, the Jaguars have weapons for sure. Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk is still a very underrated receiver. I don't know how or why he is, but he's still very underrated. Zay Jones, if he plays, that's a pretty formidable trio. Evan Ingram, him and Trevor Lawrence have a good thing going. But this secondary this Jaguars team, they're not lighting it up. I mean, they throw the ball like they're one of the lowest teams in the NFL when it comes to throw percentage. They throw the ball more often than they run it, but not by that much. It's like 55-45. Sure. And so they like to try to run the ball. And according Teresa says, hope JPJ starting. According to what Corey said, that Tara Lawson said, he's going to play more. I
He
don't
might
know
not be in the field for snap one, but he might be on the field for more snaps than any other game. So
according to
at least a plus.
According to the depth chart that came out earlier this week, Joey Porter Jr. is not technically a starter. But when you have the defensive coordinator telling everybody, especially week after week after week, he's fielding questions of, is he starting? Is he starting? Now he says he's earned more playing time. That might be a way of saying, yeah, he's going to get more snaps than, somebody else that's maybe listed as a starter. So, but listen, this Jaguars team, they're not completely great at protecting the football. Trevor Lawrence is technically, according to like that chart that I showed you guys yesterday, is technically a risk taker, not by much. He does have some plays that are kind of turnover worthy. They're not great on third down, 34% on third down. That they're not great there. There are opportunities for the secondary to absolutely do something against this team. It's just they have to, and I feel like with Joey Porter Jr. on the field more often, it's gonna be better than maybe it would have been if he's not.
Randy, you're top tier. Those that listen in are top tier. You all rock. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support on the Southside beat. We're having a great time doing this. I know there's some hurdles, of course, with my situations floating around, but we're having fun. We're doing what I think is a good job with it, and we appreciate all of you. Chris, do you want to take us out in case my setup here decides to crash on me?
Yeah, of course. Corey, thanks for showing up, for giving us all the great information from the South Side. Definitely need it. Pour one out for Corey. He's going to be traveling to South Bend, Indiana tomorrow for sure. Definitely got to. We're going to miss Corey, especially since he has to go to Notre Dame.
It's a beautiful campus.
Oh, I know it is. I have to talk crap because I don't like Notre Dame. Fair. But yeah,
you and a billion others.
A lot of other people. You either love them or you hate them, and I'm in the hate them crowd.
Notre Dame's on the like Yankees, Lakers, maybe even Steelers
Cowboys,
level. You love them or hate them. There's no in
between. I think. Okay, who's the most loved / hated team in the NFL?
Cowboys.
Okay, there you go. Like Steelers are up there.
Without a second thought. Cowboys.
Yeah. It's Cowboys. When we're talking about like teams that you love or hate, it's like Yankees, it's Cowboys, it's Notre Dame, Lakers. It's all up there. By the way, Mavs 1-0, winning over the Spurs last night.
Cavaliers, Donovan Mitchell with the game winner, 1-0, going to the chip, baby. Let's get it.
81 games left to play, dude.
82-0. 82-0 for my Cavaliers. Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Gonna close it out. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. You guys will join me tomorrow. You're the co-host tomorrow, so bring your questions, bring your comments. Let's not talk about Mike Tomlin's height tomorrow. We covered that plenty today, so let's talk about some other things. So, yeah. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.